This is a look at a crash that we've been watching out on the east side of town, and this is 465 at US 40. This is a major thoroughfare, and this stretch of roadway, I know that crews were out pre-treating the roads. So we are already at the point where the snowfall rates are overtaking the efforts of crews to keep the roads clear. So from here on out, I think road conditions continue to deteriorate as long as this snow is falling, and it's going to continue to fall for the next several hours. So this crash, in fact, I'm going to back out here. I'm going to show you a couple different camera views from across central Indiana and the Indianapolis Metro. This is a crash in the northbound lanes of I-465, again at US 31 or at US 40 on the east side, so Washington Street, and that left travel lane blocked. But obviously you can see that snow is coating most of those lanes. Now I want to take you out to the west side. Here's a look at 465 at I-70, so headed out toward the airport. Does look like the main roadways are okay at this point, but this is kind of this beginning of the snow that will likely continue to fall here. So there's the that's the west side. Let's go a little bit farther up on 465. So these cameras are going to start shifting as I start to change them. You can already see this is at 46th Street and 465 out on the west side, that the snow is likely covering things like bridges, overpasses, the on and off ramp systems. Those will be the things that freeze up and snow will start to accumulate on first, and those main travel lanes of 465. Again, still looking okay, but certainly starting to become snow covered, and will continue to see that happening over the next several hours. Wanted to take you to a few other places here in central Indiana as we kind of monitor what your roads are doing across the area. Looks like our NDOT cameras are down, so I can't change any more for now. I'll have to wait for that system to reload. But again, this is 465. West side of town, basically everywhere starting to see roads that will be snow covered. And I wanted to actually show you what our traffic map is looking like and where we are starting to see some crashes being reported. A couple at this point, and as snow starts to cover most of the roadways, we've seen that snow, or I should say the traffic flow really slowing up. Typically this time of day on a Saturday, we're in the green everywhere. We do not get backups unless there's construction somewhere. But you can already see we've got very slow traffic across the south side of town. There's that crash that I was showing you on 465 at US 40. We've got another crash coming down 65 as well as 465 just north of those I-70 ramps. And this is just getting started. I mean, the snow really just started to pick up around the Indy Metro. Let's flip this over to our radar picture where we are starting to see some of the banding set up and some of those heavier snowfall rates. So this is already basically taking over central Indiana. We are watching southern Indiana though. I think there's going to be a pretty quick cutoff where dry air wins out for places like Bedford South, where we're going to see a significant difference in snowfall potential. We're going to talk about that coming up in just a bit. I do want to show you the bigger picture as this widespread swath of heavy snow has set up, and we have been in communication with the National Weather Service office over in central Illinois. And you see these darker bands. I have this highlighted in this yellow zone here. That's where we're seeing some very heavy bands of snow set up in Illinois headed in our direction. So this is basically the leading edge of the snow that's been moving into Indiana now. And we've got much more still back to our west. So that's what's going to continue to bring in that snowfall potential. And because of that, I wanted to get you updated here on this winter storm warning. Now that it is in effect, officially started at 10 or at 11 o'clock this morning. Going to run for most of the area through midnight tonight. All of our counties here that border Ohio, that warning will remain through 7 a.m. on Sunday. So the heaviest snow, I believe it's already started, really going to continue between now and the afternoon. It'll start to taper off here in the metro, not until about 6 or 7 o'clock later tonight. And then we've got that bitterly cold air that's going to come in behind that system. So a good estimate right now, as we're already starting to see snow accumulate, 4 to 6 inches, and there will be some isolated higher totals underneath some of those heavier snow bands. That's going to be followed up by the wind picking up a bit, gusting tonight, could cause some blowing and drifting snow, followed up by bitter cold with wind chill values as cold as 25 below as we wake up on Sunday morning. Travel is already becoming dangerous out there. As you saw on our NDOT cameras, we are already starting to see some of that snow that is starting to accumulate even on pre-treated interstates, those main thoroughfares. And then as we get into that cold weather Sunday into Monday, really want you to limit that outdoor time. And I think even potentially into Monday morning, we could see some school disruptions. Our temperature has already fallen here in Indy. We actually started the day at 31 degrees, close to midnight. We have now dropped to 23. Look at that pool of much colder air to our northwest. It's 10 in Chicago, 10 below for your air temperature in central Wisconsin. That colder air is going to continue to take over for us. So we're going to be done with the 20s here soon. By the time we get into the afternoon, we're going to fall into the teens with single-digit wind chill temperatures, and then eventually our wind chill is going to drop below zero, I think by about 9 p.m. as the air temperature falls into the single digits. And the reason, yes, we're talking about that cold air because it really does matter, but it certainly matters when it comes to any snow that's still falling at that time. As temperatures drop, our snow ratios are going to change. So when we're right near that freezing mark, we have a snow ratio that's typically 10 to 1. That means we have 1/10 of an inch of liquid precip that equals out to about 1 inch of snowfall. Whenever the air temperature gets colder, our snow ratio changes. So we'll go from a 10 to 1 to say a 20 to 1 as temperatures continue to drop. That means with the same amount of liquid, we get higher snowfall numbers. And I think that's going to be how today plays out and why some of those numbers have been adjusted up just a little bit. Typically, we have been showing you these central Indiana maps. 3 to 6 inches was what we were talking about last night, even earlier this morning. But some of that fresh data coming in, we think area-wide, at least 4 inches is going to be a good estimate. And again, there will be several reports of snow, upwards of 6 inches, potentially some isolated bands as high as 7 inches of snowfall when this is all said and done later this evening. That quick cutoff from Bloomington to Bedford, I think this Bloomington to Columbus line will be also that cutoff of about 4 inches. Once you get south, Bedford, I think, is going to be closer to that 2-inch mark or even below that, because of the drier air that's going to set up in southern Indiana. And right here across northern Indiana, we did have some questions from the Marion area. I think Marion's kind of right there on that 4-inch line as well. Farther north you get, at least for tonight. Now there's going to be some lake effect snow that will set up in far northern Indiana into Sunday, and that's going to change totals there. But at least through tonight, that 2 to 4 inch line will be basically Marion, Peru, and northward. So that's your snowfall potential with this event that is ongoing. Right now, again, we're at 23. The snow has certainly started to fall. Here's a look at Meridian as the snow's starting to coat even those primary thoroughfares here through downtown Indy. Let's walk you through the latest timeline. This is our high-resolution weather model, and it's already doing a good job of picking up on that drier air to areas south and that quick cutoff of snowfall potential. We're really not going to see any changes to that snow between now and at least 4 o'clock this afternoon area-wide. The thing you're also going to notice is the temperature will continue to drop. As we get into about 6 p.m., it's still going to be snowing across most of the state at this point. Eventually, that drier air wins out, pushes the snow out of here. I think between about 6 and 8, snow will start to wrap up around the Indy metro. But our southeasternmost counties likely not going to see the snow completely come to an end until closer to about 10 o'clock tonight. Then we'll be about done. Then we got the blowing, the drifting, the cold that we'll be dealing with. This is 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. Notice your temperatures already in the single digits. The wind, as I mentioned, also going to start to pick up. That will make it feel significantly colder. Wind chill values into Sunday morning, falling into the double-digit sub-zero range, likely 20 or below all throughout the morning hours on Sunday. And then Sunday afternoon, check this out, really not going to see much in the way of an improvement, with the warmest part of the day around 3 p.m. likely not happening until we get into that latter part of the afternoon with a high temperature of 9 and a max wind chill of about 4 below. The forecast high temperature is 9 degrees tomorrow. Want to put that number into perspective. The average high, and Sean Ash did this research and made this graphic. I think it's super helpful just to kind of realize how rare this air is here in central Indiana. The average high is still 43 at this point in the season, and a high temperature of 9 would tie the standing daily record low maximum. That means the coldest high temperature, if you will, which was set back in 1963. This is also the last day this early in the season, or I should say comparing this to other cold December days. We haven't had a high temperature of 10 or below until the 10th day of December back in 1977. And of course, we remember the winter of 77, 78. That's kind of what we're comparing these cold temperatures to at this point in the season. And then we get you into Monday. Really not expecting much of a change here from an air temperature standpoint. I think many spots will still be below zero, especially with that fresh snowpack. It's not going anywhere with that cold air still in play. The only relief, especially on Monday, is the fact that the wind is going to be a little calmer, so those wind chill values will likely stay in the sub-zero range down to about 15 below. So not as bad, but still pretty brutal. Then we get into Monday afternoon, and your temperature will start to rise a bit. And then finally back above freezing. We do not get back to average until Wednesday. And then we will have a couple of days next week where we do get back into the 50s. I think we get some rain chances in on Thursday. So today the snow, tomorrow the cold, Monday morning the cold, as well as those school disruptions on Monday. So that is why we are keeping Monday as well a weather impact alert day. So we'll continue to monitor that one for you as we go through the day today. And I do quickly just want to check in on our live stream on our Facebook page here to see if we have any comments or anything that I could help answer while we're going through this. Let's see here. We just have everyone kind of wishing some safe travels. Some folks really excited about the snow. Amy is excited about the snow. Love the cold, but can deal without the snow. Okay. All right. So everyone just kind of prepared for this, I think. I think this has been something that we've been talking about for the past several days, and the fact that we are in one of the snowiest starts to the winter season of all time. So that is certainly something that folks are kind of prepared for at this point. But just a reminder, I wanted to flip back quickly to what we've got going on over here on the east side of town. Again, this is kind of the first of what I would assume to be crashes on our interstates in our local city streets today. So this should just serve as a reminder that we are already seeing some pretty snow-covered roads across the area, and likely to continue to see the road conditions deteriorate over the next few hours as that snow continues to move through. We're going to be here keeping you updated all day long. Angela's going to be in a little later this afternoon. And at the top of every hour, we do plan to do these live updates that will be streaming on all of our social media pages, as well as WTHR Plus, to keep you updated on this ongoing winter storm. Again, that winter storm warning continues through 12 a.m. early Sunday.